censorship or moral compass. We know some people don't have a moral compass around here.
Or it's rusty.
Spotify has removed R. Kelly and XXXTentacion from playlists and recommendation features, citing its new policy on hate content and hateful conduct.
Or it's rusty. Spotify, the Swedish music streaming behemoth, thank you for interrupting.
Yeah, no problem.
That showed Apple how to think different, recently released a public policy on hate content and hateful conduct in response to their decision to ban R. Kelly and XXXTentacion. I think that's how it's pronounced. You might know.
I don't.
Okay.
I never heard of
The
this
youth
band.
of today may know.
Hate content refers to music that has hateful language towards an individual or group, and Spotify will look to a number of third parties to guide their decision on whether to remove the song or the artist. Hateful conduct is the personal actions of the artist, and Spotify only says that they may change how they work with or support the artist, kind of the way that Apple supported U2 by bequeathing that entire album to everybody's phones.
Very generously.
Is Spotify taking a strong enough stand with their new policy, or would you support some government intervention to protect your listening choices? Steve Jobs.
Despite what you may think, despite, my Bernie bro, socialist,
Both Bernie bros.
yeah, kind of. My street cred as a Bernie bro, absolutely not.
Absolutely not what?
Absolutely not. There should be no government intervention into this. It should be entirely up to the private corporations to decide what they want to display. Because, listen, I mean, if people like this music, if they really want to get into, like, the hate music, there is probably some weird Reddit, subreddit place where they can listen to it.
Or YouTube Red Channel.
Yeah, or whatever, but the mainstream, the mainstream streaming solutions, they should have the ability to do what they want. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the R. Kelly situation was not because of the lyrics in his music, but because of all of the sexual abuse allegations that were against him. So I think it goes doubly, and I think that that's fair, but it shouldn't be the government.
So, I just want to make a correction here. R. Kelly was not banned from Spotify. You can still listen to R. Kelly on Spotify or any platform. They're just not magically putting it on R&B playlist and all this magic. So they're having their little PR moment, but also getting their 3 cents a song.
Cake, eating it too.
Yeah, let's get that correct. And I agree with Steve Jobs over here. Mm-hmm. Why should the government has better things? I don't want the government. I know Tipper Gore already tried once. I'm good. I want my music. Let it be.
You want your MTV?
Yeah,
wow.
Let me make my choice.
Let it be. He even snuck in a song title.
Let me make my choices. However, I'm okay with the companies doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
If they want to censor, if they want to, they already have 2 versions of the same songs. They'll have a clean version and the non-clean version for the lyrics, for
explicit and
non-explicit.
Yeah.
So they have that already. They have their form of censorship. This is just a PR move. I mean, I'm for it because I think R. Kelly is the criminal. Him and Chris Brown should be.
Chris Brown should now be thrown into the bucket of R. Kelly and taken off all the R&B playlists.
Maybe he should.
Where do we draw the line?
That's a great question.
It's not our line. It's not our line to draw.
Yeah. LCD sound systems should be kicked out too.
The crime is too many band.
I don't like to live in hypotheticals, but I believe. Hey, if Spotify,
you're living in a fantasy
or
world.
Apple want to say, hey, this guy, let's focus on hate speech. Things are hurtful. That potentially the Supreme Court has already ruled what's protected by the First Amendment. Hey, go for it. Ban them. I'm okay with that.
So you're okay with a private corporation censoring?
I'm okay with a private corporation determining what service is providing,
which is called censorship.
I mean,
in this case, it's called censorship.
I don't think it's called censorship because they're not basically saying, "Hey, we're banning it all over the world," and it's not the government. It's a corporation saying, "Hey, we stand for something. We don't want this."
Yeah, YouTube Red will allow all of that trash on it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So you
remember, Google removed their little logo motto thing, "Don't be evil." So hey,
and Amazon,
I bet I can find R. Kelly there right now.
Yeah, Amazon selling all the facial recognition software to the government. They don't care. You can get R. Kelly. You can get hate speech on Amazon.
So you're okay. So therefore, is that going to influence your decision on which streaming service you use based on which ones have taken off of the artist you like or don't like?
I mean, right now. Right now, I don't think that's a criteria that I'm
No,
applying.
but let's look forward to the future.
But I don't like to live in hypotheticals, but I welcome it. I welcome companies say, "Hey, we stand for something."
Really? So
I agree.
So let's
I
go.
agree.
Let's
it.
bring this full circle. I'm not talking hypotheticals, but let's talk into actuals.
Yeah, please.
So China
Uh-huh.
went in and
The
said,
country.
and the country,
That I've never been to, but okay, so we're not talking about hypotheticals.
not the dinnerware, but
Okay.
the country, they went in and said, hey, wait a second, we're going to basically stop any company from publishing a VPN
Yeah.
in the App Store, and if you don't, we're going to basically rip out your license to sell in our country. And Apple bent over and said, I have no moral compass. I don't care about my users and the fact that they might be persecuted.
We've already talked about this. We've already track about
but
this. But you just want to bring
but
back
now
this
you're playing
track.
the other side.
I'm not
That's
playing
what
any
I'm saying.
side. I'm saying, hey, that's a big different thing. Wait, a government said, hey, we're banning this whole
Right.
thing. And they're a private or they're a public corporation, which has to answer to the shareholders. And they're like, well, I guess we need to dance with the devil here to make some money, right? That's basically what they're doing.
So are you happy today with the fact that the U.S. government just rescinded the rules that were put in place against the banks following the 2008 financial crisis? Because if you follow this logic, you're basically saying,
No.
hey, it's great for the government to get out of private corporation business. Am I right here? Am I
I
right?
think you're totally wrong.
Yeah.
I think you're trying to apply different things to the Constitution amendments to.
I didn't ask you this question. I asked you this question.
I am obviously not happy about that sort of repeal of those regulations because I feel like it's a completely different thing. They were hurting a lot of people by their practices, and in this case, that's a pretty clear cut and dry thing that you need to act on. The First Amendment rights and the freedom of speech and what you're able to create as part of art, I think is a little bit more muddy and a little bit more gray. And as soon as you start involving the government in something like that, you get exactly what we've already got. We have such a huge partisan split based on buzzword, right? We're not actually talking about actual issues any longer in the United States. We're talking about emotional feelings about this versus that. I think with the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, whatever amendment you're happy to be in for or against, the government starts enforcing it one way or another, it gets really muddy. But something like the banks, where they're actually doing massive damage to the country and much of it was illegal, that's when the government can step in.
Illegal is an interesting word.
Well, all right, let me say, it was illegal by my moral compass.
Oh, wow.
So you've identified where your moral compass is now. Let's go to Al Franken for a second. So here's somebody that basically got kicked out of the Senate. I think he resigned, actually.
Yeah, he resigned.
He resigned for doing what exactly?
He had taken a photograph with, I believe, another actress or comedian where he...
Was that illegal?
No. Again, we're talking about two very different things. We're talking about moral variations versus actual crimes or illegal things.
Yeah, and I think actually that Al Franken thing actually specifically aligns with the whole Spotify Apple thing. It's not an illegal thing, but a body of work about corporation. The Senate basically said, "Hey, that's not right."
It's not a public corporation.
No, but they
They're
have
publicly voted
governing.
on.
They self-govern, right? They have amendments and things that they protect themselves. These like the chief of the watch or whatever, the guy that watches over the Senate, and he says, "Hey, the guy that that's the House that has the chief of arms, sergeant of arms." I'm sure the Senate has the same concept, right? They basically say, "Hey, this is not right." He could have stayed. Nothing said you had to resign. Just like the I don't know how we're going from R Kelly to the governor of Missouri right now.
I'm pretty sure it's a fair connection.
But the governor of Missouri, he's the perfect example, right? Unless they fire you, why are you going to quit? And that's what he's doing. He's basically fighting, and now he's getting impeached, and he's starting an impeachment trial. So back to bring it to the real conversation, the corporations are doing the right thing. They're self-governing in this case because there's certain laws to say, if you're trying to say a blanket statement, well, what about the banks? Hey, the banks deal with a lot more important things than the music industry.
A lot more important than music?
Yeah, so perhaps we should,
by some
there should
by
be some
measures.
regulation for the banks.
So which is more important to you, hateful conduct or hateful speech?
I mean, what do you more
Which one would you put on your moral compass to be higher, where you say that's something that
What's your definition of
I'm
conduct?
against?
Yeah, again, I think
That's the whole point.
Right?
That's what we're talking about. Conduct.
Somebody has to interpret, right? If it's like the thing that happened in was it West Virginia, Charlottesville? No, that's Virginia.
Virginia.
The
Charlottesville.
Trump was like many people and good people on many sides.
Oh yeah.
That was bad conduct. That's there are people there
By whose standard?
and
They
by
were
the
expressing their
Supreme
free
Court.
speech rights.
And to a point until somebody showed up with a car.
And
Yeah, but
drove
that
it
was
through.
different. That was
No,
actual against
That was
the law.
conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
but no, he was
broke the
talking
law.
about all the friendlies who were out there with their torches walking around.
Oh, the friendlies.
Oh, that was a different protest. You're thinking
I
that
thought
was
the
Tiki
same
Torch.
protest.
Charlottesville was a different.
Oh,
Well,
no,
it
it's
did-
not-
the next day it became the car
Yeah.
running into people.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it was just one.
One car?
There was one car that ran
Yeah.
into and killed a woman and injured a few
Yeah,
others.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
that,
illegal.
and I think,
But are they not exercising their free speech rights just like R. Kelly and XXXTentacion?
just like the Supreme Court has ruled and other people have ruled, free speech is a very difficult thing to understand
Right.
because hey, I think they even said it. You can't scream fire in a movie theater, right? So things that are harmful to society are what they rule to be bad speech. If we're going to sit here and now have to figure out what's good speech or bad speech, then we're going to be the same people causing the problems in this country, trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm not sure we're the same. I'm the same.
No,
person
I'm just saying
causing the problem.
if
You
we're
two
sitting
might be,
here,
but I'm here trying to solve the world's problems.
If you're
That's
sitting
why we're on
here-
this show.
if you're sitting here, well, this is good, this is bad. Like
If you can't make a decision about what's good and
I
what's
can
bad,
make,
then
I can make a decision.
you
got to
check your moral compass at the door because we need to look for the magnetism around this globe right here to see which direction is north.
My moral compass.
Which way is your
working
moral
pretty fast.
compass pointing?
I can definitely tell you when I see something that I don't like. There's a lot of things I don't like, but hey, I understand people have a self-expression, right?
What you're saying is that the moral compass is like Jack Sparrow's compass. That whoever's holding it,
No.
that's where it points,
I
right?
never
That's-
saw Beyond the first movie.
that
so-
was in the first movie, so you should be able to.
then I have no idea.
find
Well,
that.
let's go to the. Since I'm right again, let's go to the closing question.
Far from it, but
Okay.
continue.
As always, correct. Spotify stated, while we don't believe in censoring content because of an artist's or creator's behavior, we want our editorial decisions, what we choose to program, to reflect our values. What values do you stand for, Mr. Moral Compass, that you will ban an artist from the soundtrack of your life? 2 words. Steve Jobs.
Oh, well, this is going to not make sense now that you call me Steve Jobs, but cash grab. If you're out of your way to just grab cash from your listeners, you banned. Don't want it. Taylor Swift, get out of here. Don't like it. LCD sound system, I don't care if you have to.
LCD sound system.
I don't care.
Here we go.
I don't
Here we
care.
go.
I don't care that you have to pay for 15 musicians, okay? Don't grab cash.
How are they grabbing cash? Give me an example how they're grabbing cash. I can know how Taylor Swift is grabbing
Well,
cash.
no, they're charging. I don't know.
Remember, they had an end of their career tour, and then they came back.
That's
again.
right. Yes,
Total cash grab.
definitely
Not at all.
within.
Not at all.
That was definitely within our criteria of what a cash grab
And
is.
we've talked about this before.
Anybody else?
YouTube, cash grab.
Do you ever listen
You
to
ban.
YouTube?
No,
Ever?
no.
If it comes on in a bar, do you storm out of the bar?
I mean, okay, all right. It has been playing in my presence.
It's the soundtrack of your life. You okay there?
I think I'm okay. I've had a really hard time coming up with this
This is
one.
a good question.
Yeah, it's
I
a
know.
great question.
I know, because I
Because
wrote
you
it.
got to think about your values and all this. But I think, you said cash grab. I'm going to know when to say when. When to get the hell off the stage. When to stop producing music. When YouTube, just stop. Just stop. Like, we don't need this crap album and this album this concert tour that has AR. So, they
That's the
they
thing?
hate art. The artists hate people with their phones. Hey, we got 25,000 people in this song. We need you to hold your phone. Come on, to get a little devil's head floating around. But my number one person for this value, Aerosmith / Steven Tyler. I didn't realize.
Disagree.
I didn't realize. I mean, I haven't liked an album since.
Walk this way.
No, there was one 86, 87
Yeah,
that I
I know
really
the
liked. Pump. Everything has sucked since then. I saw on my favorite station this morning, one of Al Roker's disciples interviewed Steven Tyler. He's doing a country music album.
No,
All right.
no,
I'm
he's
out.
not.
Know when to say when.
That's also part of a cash grab right there.
Well, he
he's trying to
called
hit up
it-
a new demographic
He
because the
called
old
it,
one hates
he
him.
called it, I want to make outlaw country. I'm like, oh yeah. As you
Kid
have
Rock
your,
country.
Yeah,
Kid
if you have
Rock.
your Evian water and your shrimp, and the Four Seasons in Nashville, yeah. Outlaw.
Can we also talk about the fact that shrimp is also like an item for you that's
Yeah.
not an outlaw? Like,
Exactly.
if you got shrimp, you're living
not
the
an
high
outlaw.
life.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you would also, if you had thought of this, you would have brought up Billy Corgan doing that 8-hour thing
no.
at Madame Tsutsu's
I
and put him
thought
on
of-
the It's Enough.
No, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he needs. Yeah, it's enough. Come on, know when to say when.
Jimmy Buffett escaped from Margaritaville, the musical.
At least it's right now stuck at a stage. It's not a movie, not yet.
Not yet, but it will be.
It will be.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say, boy, I had it for a second there. I've been laughing a little too much. Artists who can't make a decision. You can't stick to your moral compass. So artists that go with the exclusive on one streaming service and shut out all other people. That's not very democratic. That's very egalitarian, elitist, and utilitarian all at once. So that's what I would say. So that's basically anything on Tidal.
Okay.
I don't think anything. Yeah.
Tidal used to be exclusive until people stopped using it, and now they
They're
can't be
faking numbers.
exclusive
Yeah, I'm
anymore.
not
Now
sure.
they're playing along.
I don't know anybody that uses Tidal. So
U2 that dropped that massive
album.
deuce on all iPhone users a couple years ago.
big thank you.
Yeah.
It's a hot thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Tweet at us using our handle HiFi Critics or the hashtag Splash List. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to automatically be updated when a new episode is released.